Hello friends, in previous videos we've went over how to debug code in LLDB as well as in VS Code, specifically C++ code and stepping through the code line by line. What I've realized is that I've never actually explained how to read assembly code. Whenever you see code like this, this is assembly code and I never explained how to read it, so I figured why don't I go ahead and give a little bit of a tutorial on how some of the basics work. If you're a programmer who's never taken computer architecture or you've largely been a full stack developer, stuff like this might seem really complicated, but it's actually a lot easier than you might expect. In fact, I would go as far as to say that reading assembly code might even be easier than reading C++ code. Let's start by going over some of the C++ code. The first line here is adding two variables. And the second line is taking the max of two variables. It's taking the max of A and 10. So of course the result here for B should be 10. The functions here are very simple. The main thing that's interesting here is that I've had to add this underscore attribute no line. Apparently it's a compiler directive that tells Clang to not inline this function even if it thinks it would be faster, because we're going to have to step through the assembly line by line. So let's make sure that the compiler doesn't try to optimize any of this code away. The whole point of this tutorial is to just go through some of the assembly. So I've set up LLDB, we've put a breakpoint on main, and we're right on line 1. Let's go ahead and start by understanding some of the core assembly features. These, I believe, are memory addresses. All of these are memory addresses. These are just hexadecimals. Think of this as just being memory, so you don't really have to look at this too much. And then these are just offsets. Here it says +1 because it's +1 here. Here it says +4 because it's +4 from the initial segment. Here it says +8 because it's +8 from here. So again, both of these sections, don't really worry about it. The next thing to look at are some of these commands right here. Push Q, move Q, sub Q, move L, move L. What are all these commands? Now, the first thing that you should probably understand is that a lot of these commands we don't really need to even worry about, because I've actually put a breakpoint on main. The breakpoint is right exactly as soon as it enters main. So right now you could see an arrow right here, and everything before it is kind of just stuff that happens beneath the scenes. These are things that are internal that you don't really need to think about. What you really need to think about are the values that happen inside of the code, which is happening right over here. So let's take a look. First line here, move L. So what does move L mean? So these commands usually work like this. Usually you take whatever's in here and you put it in here. That's all there is. A huge part of assembly is that. So you've got move command here. So what we're saying is move one long into this register called EDI. Why are we doing that? Well, if you look at the code right here, well, clearly we're passing in an integer 1 into this add function. So the compiler has turned this code into this assembly. Then we're going to move L once more. So this time we're moving the number 2 into ESI. If I press SI to step to the next instruction, we'll be right here. We're still in this line of C++ code. So then we go to the next line, which is call Q. This is a different instruction, but it essentially says, hey, go to this memory address. Again, memory addresses are like on this side, right? So call Q is saying, well, go to whatever's happening at this address. Now, thankfully, the compiler is smart and it gave us a comment, and it says it's going to the add function, which is at main.cpp. If we go here on line 4, we've got our add function. So I'm going to press SI. So now we're on this line, and I'm going to press SI again to step into. And there we go. Now we're at the add function, and the point is here. It's pointing to this add right here. And now we can see the add function. You'll notice that we're pressing call Q into this specific memory address, and it essentially goes to that memory address. So if I scroll down, right, like we're at that same exact memory address here. So essentially call Q is just saying, go to this memory address. And that's about it. Move whatever's in EDI into RBP minus OX4. If you recall, if we scroll up and scroll up a couple more times, sorry, here we're saying, well, move 1 into EDI and move 2 into ESI. And now what we're saying is move whatever's in EDI into RBP minus OX4. So if I do p print $EDI, well, we've got our integer 1. This is exactly what we had noticed earlier. So we're moving 1 into RBP minus 4. In order to confirm this, we actually have to go to the next line, right? Because this instruction's happening right here, but we haven't run the instruction yet. We have to go to the next line and then we can check. So let's go to SI to step to the next instruction. We have the value in RBP minus 4x. Let's do one more so that we can check both these values at once. So I'm going to do one more so that we've essentially performed both of these operations. And now what I can do is say examine 2D, which stands for 2 decimal at RBP minus OX8. And here you go. So we're saying whatever's in this value, move it into EAX. EAX is a register that can hold a 1 integer. So I can go to the next line and confirm what's in EAX. If I press P $EAX, we should see 1. Cool. So we've got 1 in EAX, we've moved whatever's in here into EAX. And again, notice that we're not really caring too much about like these addresses or these values. We're only just looking at this side of the assembly. And finally, we've got our add instruction here. We're saying, well, whatever was in at this value at RBP, add that long into EAX. And now we are at the return statement, but again, we should have the value inside of EAX. So let me do P EAX, and what do we expect the value to be? Well, we expect the value to be 1 plus 2, which is 3, and that's exactly what the value is here. So isn't that interesting? We've already started to learn a bunch of assembly. We're reading assembly right now, and now of course we're going to return. I'm going to press SI and then SI once more, and wow, we ended up right over here, right after that call queue, which took us to the add function. At the end of this function, we put our return statement into this EAX register. So we are now storing that because we're going to want to pass it into the max function here, right? So I'm going to press SI, and this time we are also passing in OXA. So A, I believe, represents 10. So we want to store the value A as well as the value 10 and pass those into whatever's at this address. And well, thankfully, there's a nice comment here that's saying we're going to go to the max function, which is in main.cpp on line 8. So I'm going to press SI, and then I'm going to press SI once more. And now we're at this int max function. Now, int max function is very simple. All it's doing is it's saying, well, if A is greater than B, return A. Otherwise, return B. So in this case, we've passed in A as 3, and int B is 10. So we expect the return to be 10 all the way up here now. And now I'm going to press SI a couple more times. And we already know most of assembly at this point because we know how MoveL works, right? I'm just kidding. There's a lot of other instructions that I haven't gone into, but if you know MoveL, you kind of know how everything works as well as if you understand how these parentheses work. So we're at MoveL here, and what we're saying is move whatever's in OX8 at RBP into EAX. So let's see what's in OX8. I'm going to examine D RBP minus OX8. So this is the value 3, which can only mean that this value right here must be value 10. Let's just confirm that. I'm going to do OXC, and there we go. So yeah, we have those two variables already. So I'm going to press SI once more, and this time we've got our comparator. So CMP stands for compare, 2 longs, and we're comparing 10 with whatever's in EAX, and of course in EAX is 3. So I'm going to go to the next line here. Here's another interesting one where we've got JLA, which stands for jump. I believe it's if less than or equal to. Basically what we're saying is if this ends up being true, then go to this line right here. So what you're going to notice is if I step through, it is going to be true. So we've essentially just jumped. We've jumped some assembly. And now what we're going to say is, well, it's true. So what we want to do is move whatever's in RBP minus OXC into EAX, because again, we're taking the max function here. So obviously RBP minus OXC, which is 10, is what we want to return. And essentially we are putting that into EAX, which I believe will get returned, or is that right? Let's see. So I'm going to press SI once more, and then I'm going to print EAX. So EAX has 10, that's correct. And now we're moving EAX into whatever's 4 minus RBP, which I actually don't know why we're doing that, but okay. cool. And we're doing this, and then now we are moving whatever's in RBP -4 into EAX once more. I'm actually not sure why we're doing that. Because, yeah, let's see what happens. Before I return, I want to print what's in EAX. So EAX has the value 10. I'm going to press SI, and there we go. We've got our value in EAX. And so if I press SI once more, and then if I do print of EAX, we should see the value 10. Now, I'm not really printing anything here. The int main function is not printing anything, so we're not going to see anything in the results. Hopefully that explains some of the basics of assembly. You've got some addresses right here, right? You've got some move instructions, you've got some jump instructions, you've got some call instructions which pass in an address, which take you to that address. You've got the add instruction with our add function. So yeah, these are some of the basics of assembly. And of course, one last thing is that, you know, when you see something like this with parentheses, what you're saying is, if it's a minus sign right here, it's RBP minus OX8. If there is no minus sign, I believe it's like RBP plus OX8. So yeah, these are some of the basics of assembly, and hopefully that clarifies how you can read assembly, and hopefully you're a lot less scared of assembly. And yeah, I gotta be honest with you, like I'd say that reading assembly, like it looks a lot scarier than it is. It's actually not that hard. You feel your way around assembly a lot quicker than you might think. You just have to put in that little bit of upfront investment to learn the basics, and hopefully this video kind of provided that. So yeah, that's all I've got for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed learning about assembly. I'd really appreciate it if you could just hit the like button and consider subscribing for more videos just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.